Okay, I'm back. I now understood a bit. So the votes plugin is actually completely deprecated. No application is using it. But that's what we are going to do here. There was this last test failing. Now in the votes, in this vote specification, I added the plus skip instruction here, and I just don't care about it. In the beginning of the text, this was written already. Votes are currently not installed in NOI in favor of things, but I'm going to move this even more to the top. Currently not used anywhere. Not used anywhere. This plugin is currently not used anywhere. Well, so consider it deprecated. That's for this. So we are at number 5 maybe or so. Now continue. I scroll up. Here there is no users. Yeah, that's normal. It changed as part of the ticket. I have this new distribution of user types. Before we had also consultant and hosters, but actually this is getting to be I want to copy it. It is just this one. This is the new list. Tony's and I have been talking about this. I copy simply the new list to the thing, to the test, to the expected test. Oh, I saw now that by copying it lost my place, so I was here. I copied in the wrong window. I must copy here, and so I must first run the test. NOI. What was the name? NOI users. I should have run it there so that I can copy from my second terminal. Yeah, that sounds normal. Also in line 61 there is another failure. Here is a list of user types of those who can work on tickets. Contributor, developer, admin. Yeah, hoster and senior are no longer there. We don't make the difference between developer and senior. Contributor and senior. Customer users 67, and here are those who don't work. Anonymous and customers. Yes, customers don't work. Contributors and developers can work, which means register working session. The same, I think. Why is this? Test. It's the same. I just had it. Okay, I'm gonna copy it and then maybe don't use spec 75. It's similar to, now we have here the users overview, and first we had the user types. Yeah, that's right. That's what so we have these users. Yeah, there should be more text, but I'm not going to write this now. Oh, let's write users. These are the demo users in the team. Users. The demo site. These are the users of the team demo site. No, these are the users of this demo site, because that's clear. We know that we are talking about the team demo site, and if I use this formulation, then I can more easily copy it to another application and then just change it. Yeah, this is the table you see, it is the user roles table in no users in line 96. It has become smaller, of course. There are less user types in 96. Yeah, here's the user roles table for NOI. It's going to be replaced by the new one. Since we are our own customer here, I'm not going to be so very strict about checking whether everything is right. It depends, of course, on the site operator, how severe they are and how allergic they are against changes or against surprises. That this is a table that you should actually carefully check every change in such a table, because end users tend to be quite irritated when something simply disappears, or when they see that some colleague sees some confidential data, for example. That's not something that should happen on a production site. So here are also, here this is another thing, the show Windows permissions. That's also just in online 126. That's also normal. We have all the windows, and then the user types who can see of those who can see them. And of course, something changed here, and I'm not even going to verify every detail. As I said, we are not that allergic against changes in our team, and so I just copy it. If some problem arises, then we are going to notice this was the end of the file, so now there should be no failure anymore for this file. This was about file number 6 of 26. We are advancing, aren't we? Let's scroll up again. So here something more happens. In docs specs Neutickers, I see there is some difference at some place at line 37. What's happening there? Well, you see something has changed in the. Now let's look at the whole file. I'm gonna make the same. If I copy here, then I must do it with the mouse. I open my file. I run already my doc test at 37, we said. So you see here, this is the textual representation of the tickets detail window, and something has changed in this form. It was here about the comments. So you see these 2 lines have been replaced by 2 other lines. You see the change? Of course, the change is here also again in the list of user types for whom they are visible. So otherwise there's no change, so I copy these and say I copy the sessions and comments. I must find, so this is here, this is what is changed. I delete it and replace it by the new value, the new observed value. And there was another line, this mentions, yeah, two lines. So these are the new ones, and here these 2 lines are being replaced. I must always shift left and then remove the pluses when I copy such diff output. So when you have these minuses and pluses, that's because we have this doctest option report udiff. The plus report udiff, it's a doctest option. That means those doctests, so now it's no longer failing. It means that doctest, the normal behavior in doctest is that if you say something like this, doctest is going to run it, and then if this is the output, the expected output, you wrote it, And if doctest finds some difference in the output, then it is going to say you expected this, the complete output, and then but you got this, and then the complete new output. And then if it is a longer text, it is sometimes difficult to understand what has changed. Sometimes you want the diff format for doing such a space change. Sometimes you don't. You can change simply the plus into a minus to disable this this report, and then run the test again. So tickets is also now passing. Yeah, somebody wants to talk me. Oh, this is probably fixed already. Let's look who is going. This is Tony is going to fix Amber's problem. If you haven't fixed it, oh no, no. Oh no, I am just fixing it. Actually fixed it already, but didn't get checked in. Let's see whether it is really fixed on this side. This test, it was passing, it was failing before in my first run, but in my new run now, after I have changed, it should not fail anymore, at least not for this. Yeah, there's some other changed. Yeah, of course, where ticket private is false. You remember that we added this somehow. It's in line 68, you see, there's 68. It was in the file name is SQL, yeah. SQL 68. Yeah, so and then in the order by tickets on after the left outer join. So this is going to you have a long SQL query. Isn't it really long? Isn't it nice to have Django? So after the last left outer join, there is a, and before the order by, there is a now a where clause being added. That's true. Ticket private must not be false in this case. This is a ticket requests. Yes. So when we simply ask tickets and we are anonymous, then tickets should not be private. We should not see any private tickets. That's actually a new feature added by Tony and me with this change in ticket and in our ticket. What was the ticket? 33.1.13 review permissions of simple worker in NOI. It's an example of how Lino becomes better often by adding some new feature to some application. Here the actual customer request, if you want, is that we want to have make it possible that a simple worker in Lino NOI does not need to sign a confidentiality statement, because they don't even see any confidential data. Confidential data is the contact names of our customers, for example, and then also tickets that are marked as private. They should not be seen by simple workers. We need to have this new requirement, no, because of the data protection laws and so on. But so Lino itself is getting better with it, because we now have this method of having the get query, of overriding the get query set method of on a model, in order to really do model based filtering per user, using the user permissions. I would say that this is really a cool thing. You don't have this in plain Django. This is the same again. I'm not even going to test it now because I want to go more quickly. Docspecs NOI DB, there is also the same thing. We have less user types and less and one view less. It is in NOI DB, so I simply say here DB and 5 user types and 1 view less. True. Let's check. Not in the big one, but in this one. Okay, some more change, but this is normal. We have now group memberships. We have less group memberships, as it seems. In line 41, after line 40, it starts in line 41, but it's long. But then we have the it was groups membership, and this. So before we had 8, and now we have only 4. Let's say it's so it has to do with the demo data. We it's maybe it's perfectly plausible, and then also our all users here in the end. Also again the default table for users cannot be users anymore because users is now abstract. The users table is abstract because it is the it is the base table for all users views, and the users views are quite diverse depending on whether you are what's your permissions, and even anonymous users can see the users some part of the users table, namely their own user entry, their own, excuse me. Not even they don't have an own user entry, but they can insert a record into it and then become logged into it. No, they are not logged in. They can fill the data and request and introduce a user request. That is at least one idea. I'm not yet sure whether it's working, but okay, that's not now. Yes, again, I see this is the same error. Reported by Amber also reported this error already. It's a pity that we didn't have time to do this work earlier. Here, what's happening here? Avanti roles. This is external site operator, so this is going to be. They don't want changes in their menu if they they didn't ask it. So we have here recent comments. My uploads. Ooh, what's happening there? Let's look at the file 103. Let's see. So, in Avanti, a social worker. There is, where was it? There's the. Let's run also the test here. It is. Not here, not this one. Okay, anyway, the office menu, is it still there? Yeah, in the office menu, there's a minus and plus. It was my comments, recent comments, the second, yeah, that's what we have here. That's what the doctest is saying, that now it sees something else. The recent comments is no longer there. So this is now a more complex decision. Basically, if you are not related to the Avanti project, if you don't know about the Avanti project, then you cannot decide this. It is not your competence to say whether this is now valid or not. Excuse me. So I see my notification message. It is just no. The recent comments is no longer there. It seems, yeah. The difference is that just this one is removed. You agree? Is it true? I'm checking myself with my eye. So yeah, you see, yeah, the recent comments has been removed for the in Avanti, and this is something that you must actually ask. That the decision to be done by the Avanti developer, the responsible developer for the Avanti operator, and they must ask and they must check whether the customer will want this, actually wants this change, or did they check it, and so on. Since I am myself this guy, so I ask myself and I say, okay, let's do it. We remove this. Let's tolerate that the recent comments is going to be away, and again. I'll check this later with Johanna, but we want. But at the moment, I assume that she will say yes, it's okay. So I'm going to, and I can just remove the recent comments and run my test again. Let's try. Is it this? Of course, yeah, all users are new, and the users this past. So this is a list of. We're going to look at it together. It's the show window permissions again, and there are several windows: the change password window and the detail window of a user. They are now, and the insert window. They are no longer named users.users. They are named users.allUsers because they have the name of the default table. Normal. This change is normal, and so they are at a different place because these windows are sorted alphabetically. Line 149. So we are going to interrupt now because people are calling me. Users, I go away. Well, we will continue later. See you. Ciao.